Ready? Hi, Dr. Dixon. This is Tracy Gilberto. Just wanted to give you a quick preview of my visual aids. I have a very simple PowerPoint presentation, a lens, and my camera to demonstrate as I go along. I will never get those moments back. And unless your name is Adams, O'Keefe, or Besson, very few of us are immune to such tragedy. The precious moments, a child's first smile, a first or 80th birthday, that once-in-a-lifetime trip to Hawaii. We all have moments that we want to record for posterity. However, few of us have the resources to drag around a professional photographer with us wherever we go. As a professional photographer who was once in your shoes, I'm here to tell you that it's not as daunting as it seems to learn the fundamentals of taking a better picture. Today we're going to simplify the most important rules of photography that will garner you a better shot at getting the shot. We will touch briefly on the backbone of photography, break down the very important but confusing terms related to achieving a balanced exposure. Then we'll try to piece them together so that they make more sense. The first order of business, some science, and above all, a reminder. The camera is the tool. You are the artist. And as such, it's important for an artist to know their tools, especially their limitations. All cameras are different, but they are all based on the same technology and concepts. Familiarize yourself with the knobs and dials, the buttons and the screens, and get to know your paintbrush, if you will. The Merriam-Webster New World Dictionary, 4th edition, defines photography as the art or process of producing images by the action of radiant energy and especially light on a sensitive surface such as film or an optical sensor. In other words, simply, using your camera to control the available light to make a clear image. Think of your camera as a bucket with a spout, and your lens as a hose with a multifunction spray attachment connected to a water spigot. You have the ability to turn the water off and on, empty the bucket via the spigot, and the attachments have many settings that you can use depending on your needs or situation. We can equate these descriptions to the three most important concepts behind photography. The most important thing about a picture is being able to see it clearly, not blurry, not too bright, not too dark, with true colors. This is what we call balanced exposure. And how does one achieve balanced exposure, you ask? ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, right? I know. Here's where we get down to the simplification. For instance, you're in a dimly lit banquet hall at your brother's wedding reception, and on the table there are gorgeous centerpieces that would be perfect in the album you plan to make as a gift. You take a test shot and then peek at the screen, and you realize it's completely black. Rule number 1, set your ISO. According to Sergei Timochev and David Carlins in their book, Digital Sports Photography, Taking Winning Shots Every Time, the ISO is the sensitivity of the camera's sensor to absorb the available light. In the low light of the banquet hall, you want your ISO setting to be at a high number, say at least 400. Okay, let's revisit the garden hose. The camera is the bucket, and your garden/banquet hall is parched. It's dark. You'll need to fill it with lots of water/light because there's not enough available. Therefore, you open your hose attachment to bucket filler, letting a big gush of water/light flow into your bucket/camera. So your ISO in low light is a higher number, letting more light into your camera. In reverse, you're on a friend's boat on a bright sunny day. There's a sailboat with a gorgeous sail and the sun is twinkling on the water. It's a beautiful shot. You have to get it. You pick your camera up, which you haven't used since your brother's reception, and lo and behold, you realize that you haven't changed the settings since then. All you get is a big white screen. Too much light. This is where you want to use the spout and dump the water / light out of the bucket / camera. You don't want to overwater. In review, low light equals high ISO, bright light equals low ISO. The second rule is of shutter speed. This is the difference between focused images or a blurry snapshot. This time you're walking through downtown DC at night and you see the president's limo drive by. You quick grab your camera, take a snap, and realize that all you can see is white lights and red streams. Your shutter speed was too slow. We can compare shutter speed to the spigot's ability to control the flow of water. Shutter speed, as described by Brent Betts in DSLR Fundamentals, is how quickly or slowly the window or the shutter of the camera opens or closes, controlling the amount of light that comes through. The faster the speed of water into the bucket, the more time the water will have to reach the garden. Shutter speed is noted as a fraction of a second, for example, 1/60th or 1/250th. So the larger the fraction, the longer the shutter stays open. And in low light, this will cause anything in motion to blur. On the contrary, the smaller fraction, the higher the chance you'll have at stopping action and getting a crisp image, equal to turning the spigot off completely. And then there's aperture. This is the only of the three rules that is a function of the lens only. The aperture is how open or closed the lens opening is. And I'm not sure if you can see it here, but this one has a very large, small aperture, actually. Aperture is noted as a decimal or as large as 16. The smallest aperture of a lens I've seen personally is a 1.8, and wow, it makes for a very sharp, detailed, bright image of the moon at midnight with minimal ISO settings and a super slow shutter speed. Did you catch that? See how the three work together there? In addition to how much light gets through, aperture also pertains to how much of your image is focused or not, hopefully on purpose in this example. As explained by Facelight.com in their article titled Aperture, large aperture equals background out of focus but foreground is crisp. Small aperture equals everything is in focus across the image. So there it was again. ISO, shutter speed, aperture, aka the trio. It's all about using your camera and lens to control the available light to achieve a balanced and well-exposed image. The mastery of the balanced combination of ISO, the camera speed at which the camera sensitivity to the available light, shutter speed, the speed at which the camera allows light to enter, and aperture, the measure of the amount of light the lens lets in, based on what situations are available when you are photographing, help to create a viewable image to treasure for a lifetime. In closing, while there are many other rules and concepts in photography, the correlations between the trio and how they work together are the backbone of photography, no matter what kind of camera or what kind of photography you're doing. Get to know your tools and apply what you've learned today, and you'll be able to significantly increase your results. That, or you'll have a very soggy backyard.